Ag PhD full episodes and more are now available on Acres TV, the newest ag platform connecting you to fields of information. Look for us on watchacrestv.com.
During our Farm Basics time today, we're going to talk about a serious issue. It's grain bin safety.
Well, every year you hear about accidents happening on the farm, and so often they're around the grain bin. And you would think, man, there is a place here that has a lot of potential for bad things to happen, that it just wouldn't happen anymore, but it still does. So we want to talk about how to avoid those issues on your farm.
Well, it really starts way in advance. And this was one of the biggest things that our dad talked to us about was every summer, we want to go through all our grain bins. We want to make sure there are no holes, no leaks, no gaps, that the fans work great, that the augers work great. Everything needs to be set and ready, and if we maintain the bin well, then we're in pretty good shape. But on top of that, once we've completely swept everything out, cleaned it as good as we possibly can, then we need to spray insecticide. So what we encourage farmers to do is spray a combination of like Tempo and malathion or something like that. Get two different modes of action in that grain bin, spray it, seal it up, and now we should be set.
Insects are one thing, but another that is controllable is moisture. Now this starts at harvesting grain at the right moisture and bringing it in the bin. But Brian, we're guilty of this too. We talk about harvesting wet soybeans, drying them down in the bin. You've got to make sure those fans are working and you've got plenty of ventilation to push that moisture out if you're going to do those things. Otherwise, you could end up with some issues in the bin.
Yeah, and then you have to think ahead a little bit too. So one of the things we always used to do is store grain all through the summer the following year. Well, if that's the case, you want that grain extra dry. So we would often dry grain down to 12% on corn, maybe 11 or 10% on soybeans. So I'm just saying, I get it that for us as farmers, we're trying to save money by not drying the grain so much and using extra propane or natural gas, whatever your source for energy is. But the point is, maybe you need to spend a little bit extra just so you're a little safer and have less chance for spoilage.
Obviously, there are problems that happen, so sometimes things don't go as well as planned, and when you need to get in that bin to do something, there are safe ways to do it with cables, with harnesses, with having a second person or a third person around that bin to make sure that you're safe. There's also robots now that you could put in the bin to deal with some of the grain issues that you don't have to get in there, and certainly a lot of areas now are looking at investing in those, just like there have been local fire departments that have invested in grain rescue systems. And now we're hearing of local groups investing in robots and other technology to go inside the bin so farmers don't have to go in. That's something to take a look at in your area, or maybe get started if your area hasn't looked at this yet.
Yep, and honestly, I would just say the number one thing is you gotta have someone else with you when you're going to go into that bin. I'm not saying two people go into the bin. I'm saying one person is there to watch, to make sure that, hey, if there is anything wrong, you can get assistance immediately. That, in my opinion, is the number one thing.
Well, grain bins are very valuable tools on the farm. It's a great way to store grain and hopefully catch some basis improvement in your area, or keep that grain ready to feed to your livestock. But keeping the grain in good condition is really important, and keeping us as farmers out of the bin as much as possible is really critical for safety too. One other thing to keep an eye on the farm, at least out in the fields, is our weed of the week. Can you identify this week's weed?